You know this guy?
No.
This is William Shakespeare, probably the most famous playwright of all time. You know him from Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet, but I know damn well you ain't never went and saw a play of his. Before being able to watch recorded plays online was a thing, people went to actual theaters. They still do today, but I'm not paying an arm and a leg to watch Cats. In 1576, just outside of London, in Shoreditch, an English actor named James Burbage made one of the first public theaters. The theater. The Burbage family is actually really important to the history of theater.
According to the internet,
James Burbage and his two sons, Richard and Cuthbert, basically started theater back up for the first time in centuries. At least in London. Richard Burbage is considered one of the greatest actors of all time. He got some of his big breaks from Shakespeare, playing Richard III, Othello, Hamlet, and King Lear. And Cuthbert became the manager of their theater when Shakespeare's best plays were put on. Actually, James Burbage wasn't even a part of acting or theater just for 4 years before he built an entire theater. He was just a carpenter. But by 1572, he found himself part of the Earl of Leicester's men. He was probably the head guy, so much so that he had the authority to put his signature on a petition to a patron of their group. They were granted a royal patent in 1574, and James Burbage was the first person on the list.
suck up.
But the royal patent and new laws restricting theater in London went out at the same time, and James decided, nah, and left to settle in London. In 1576, James took out a lease on a Holywell Street site just outside London's walls in Shoreditch, so those grouches couldn't say no to him. He had a pretty wealthy brother-in-law, John Brains, who helped to invest in James' dream, so long as they got an equal share of profits. With the status as a part of the Carpenters Guild, he began to build the theater. Even after finishing the build and having success, it wasn't smooth sailing. The place took a lot of money to keep open, and the city authorities seemed to get off on harassing him. Over time, Richard and Cuthbert slowly took the theater off their father's hands, with Cuthbert taking over the lease and Richard performing in many, many of the plays. Oh, and John Braith died. Then we're splitting the bill. But his widow, Margaret, and her now dead husband's business partner, Robert Miles, wanted the half share in James Burbage and John Brains' income for themselves. In November 1590, Margaret and Robert stormed the theater with some other supporters to get the money they wanted while a play was taking place. The performers, the Lord Admiral's men, and Lord Strange's men decided that Margaret and Robert were spitting truth and took their side. Basically. My husband died. I need money. They have my money! No. Get him! With all that hullabaloo, they weren't friends anymore, and the Burbages suffered for it. But Shakespeare! The first piece of evidence we have that the Burbages and Shakespeare were homies was in 1595. He was listed as a sharer in the Lord Chamberlain's men with Richard Burbage. Cuthbert and him were on good terms too. While Shakespeare wrote his plays, Cuthbert kept the company and the playhouse's together. Richard performed Shakespeare's plays, letting his work boom in popularity. It's no wonder that after his death in 1616, Richard was left a token of broship in Shakespeare's will. Not sure what it was, but it'd be funny if it was a paper with Macbeth written on it. Imagine his funeral. For you, Mr. Burbage. A letter? For me? Read it, my brother.
Macbeth?
God, Jove, my
You
brother!
fool!
You
What have you
doomed
done?
us all to
I may
hell!
not be a
You've
theatre
spoken the
man,
unspeakable
but
words in the
I
world of the
know
theatre, you
that
absolute dumb shit! Yeah, but eventually the government came to the theater and got mad at them anyway because they put on a play they didn't like. Thanks to that, and other sickly reasons. All of the theaters in all of London were closed for the summer of 1597. They came back up after the summer, but the theater didn't. Why? Because the lease for the property had expired. Giles Allen, the man who had given the lease to the Burbage family, refused to renew it. So what did Stewart and Cutlet do? They did the most and took down the theater piece by piece to build a new theater. That's right, baby. You thought we were done? I'm tired of this, Grandpa. It's too damn bad. Boom! New theater. In 1599 and onwards, the Globe is where Shakespeare's plays are performed. He and the Lord Chamberlain's men paid into the coffers of a company that equaled about 12.5% of the cost of the building. So as the chief shareholder, Shakespeare got the Globe a ton of attention. And at the time, officially approved theater productions had only existed for about 5 years. They were fresh. The Lord Chamberlain's men were one of the 2 companies licensed to perform inside city limits. The other one don't matter. Screw the Rose Theater. The first decade of the Globe's existence, it was already London's favorite thing ever, as it should be. In later years, it was still going strong, with the troupe paying what they could to keep it going.
But let's talk about my favorite part of the Globe's history.
For some reason, they decided that having cannons inside of a theater built from wood with a thatched roof was an intelligent decision. During a performance of Henry VIII, cannons using gunpowder and not cannonballs were fired. The gunpowder was held together with wadding, and when a cannon fires, it makes fire. So the wadding set on fire, and a piece of burning wadding landed on the thatched roof, setting the building on fire! Burnt down completely within an hour. Everyone got out safe. Well, except for one guy. And that's the story of the Globe. Can I go now?
No.